If you've been watching our channel, you've seen me at least do videos, podcasts on 10 coffee businesses, coffee franchises. I have to be frank with you. I don't love the industry. I find the average tickets low. A lot of coffee shop owners are not making much money. However, there's a few diamonds in the rough, and I believe 7 Brew franchise is one of those. I don't get paid by any franchisors to do these videos, do these reports. This is for you as a consumer to make a decision and see if it's worth reaching out to the franchise brand to explore business ownership for you. But we're going to dive into 7 Brew, franchise costs, owner compensation, average unit volume. Basically, how much money do you get if you want to be a 7 Brew franchisee based on the historics of their 12 or so corporate locations that they've owned and operated, and they've made a huge push into franchising. So we're going to go through this drive-thru coffee business that's really expanded post or during the COVID-19 pandemic as the market shifted from the sit and drink coffee all day model. And they started in 2016, mostly based in Northwest Arkansas, and they had a big cash injection by Drinkhouse Holdings, an investment partnership between Jimmy John's founder, Jimmy John Liautaud, probably butchered that name, and then Lone Star Steakhouse founder, Jamie Coulter. 2 industry heavyweights. Although large coffee chains like Starbucks, Dunkin's have already begun the journey of shifting gears towards a drive-through business model, mostly in the suburbs, the founders of 7 Brew believe that industry still has white space for another competitor alongside Dutch Bros, who IPO'd pretty recently and has a kind of similar model to 7 Brew. Of the food and beverage concepts, the investment range is wide. In our database of hundreds of food and beverage concepts, ranges anywhere from $3,000 up to $6.7 million to open up a food concept. So $3,000, you're opening up a basic business and a ghost kitchen or a small kiosk, and it goes all the way up to $6.7 million on the high end. For 7 Brew, it's going to set you back about $800,000 to $1.6 million. Does not include the real estate costs, but the real estate costs shouldn't be that much above the land, as they're really small. It's less than 500 square feet, so really small footprint. In terms of what you've got to pay, they have basically a scale for royalty fees. If you make less than $20,000 a week, 4.5, and then it goes up to 7% if you're clearing over $25,000. Advertisement fees capped at 2%. They're currently charging 1%, and they have a max tech fee at 0.25%. So they only started franchising from what we see in 2021. They offer full disclosure on 8 of the company-owned businesses that have been open for the full year in 2021. All the stores were in northwestern Arkansas from what I saw, and the numbers were really good. So for just 480 square feet, they're selling $2.4 million worth of coffee. And this doesn't include all the stores. It includes the ones that have been up and running for 25 to 60 months since the business was founded. But I mean, come on. $2.4 million in sales in less than 500 square feet. That's nuts. So they're really taking advantage of that drive-through traffic. And after the presumed payment of royalty, ad fund, etc., the EBITDA for a franchisee should be about 20% of that number. So say you invested $1.2 million and you're getting 20% on that $2.4 million in sales. You could be making $450K to $500,000 in terms of EBITDA, owner salary, compensation. And we estimate a payback period of about 4 years. And there's plenty of margin there to open up multiple locations. And you already see that with franchisees, current and former at Jimmy John's jumping in, and other major franchisees of other organizations jumping in on 7 Brew. And it looks like they're competing quite hard with other incumbents and like Starbucks that have drive-through option. Brands like Tim Hortons that have recently updated their store model to have a tighter payback period and really totally revitalized their footprint. So nice payback period similar to 7 Brew coffees. But imagine, say you open up 5 7 Brew coffees and they're doing like $12 million in sales across them. If you sold that system, we estimate that you would clear $10 million. And say you only invested $6 million to open up those 5 locations, you can net potentially $4 million from the sale. And we see a lot of franchisees, especially that are opening up 7 Brew Coffee and like concepts, are also owning the land, developing the land, and then selling the real estate to a REIT to recuperate their capital even faster. 7 Brew is definitely a brand that's going to be exclusive to get in. It is exclusive. Generally, you have to have a pretty high net worth and have operating experience in the restaurant segment, ideally as an owner-operator of 5+ locations. So they're going head and head with Dutch Bros. That's no longer franchising. It's just expanding through corporately owned and managed locations. And I think it's going to be a nice race between 7 Brew, Tim Hortons, and Dutch Bros that have that smaller footprint coffee shop drive-through model, and see which one pans out the best. And there should be room for all 3 contenders in this coffee market that has really shifted since COVID, and that drive-through has paid off, as we've seen already for 7 Brew and Dutch Bros, where those financials just continue to roar. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if there's any other coffee franchises you'd like us to review, or any other franchises in general. Thanks.